Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. It is Thursday, August 8th, 3:46 p.m. We are getting back into another episode of The Close. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of earnings to get to today. We have Tradedesk, Dropbox, Unity, Cleanspark, Rocket Lab, bunch of different stocks reporting. All very interesting stocks, have all different interesting segments of the economy. So we'll be looking at everything that happens. And that'll probably start at 4 p.m.-ish. So probably from 4 to 4:30-ish, we'll get a ton of results and we'll get to see what implications that has for the broader economy. Then we've obviously got to talk about Palantir. Not much more to say other than the fact that I think the street really likes this Microsoft deal, and that's why Palantir is surging right now at $29.16, up 10%. It was basically at these levels, call it 7 to 8% when I ended the market open. So seeing it get up to 29.15, not that much of a surprise. The momentum is there. The markets in general started going up. We're going to talk about macro in a second. And you've got the macro basically being a tailwind for Palantir and then this big Microsoft deal. And then they're really getting the bump from earnings because the stock fell to $21. At the lowest, it was $20.69 on Monday. And so you're seeing a bit of a recovery there and a bump because of obviously a phenomenal earnings that Palantir had. So $29.19, probably not going to cross $30 in the next 15 minutes, but it looks like we could potentially close above 29, even close in the high 28s, like 28.90, 28.80. If we do that, I think 30 is around the corner as long as the market holds up. And if 30 is around the corner, then we might be looking at a 3 instead of a 2 in front of Palantir. So exciting stuff to see Palantir at 29.22. SoFi up almost 5% of the day, 4.4%. Elf Beauty, they report after the bell as well, up 2.6%. SMCI up 2.3%. Robinhood starting to gain a little bit more momentum, up 4% on a really big bull day like this. Robinhood basically being depressed, not really being allowed to move. Bitcoin is up almost at 60,000. Robinhood still not getting the benefit from that as well. I increased my position by 11% today. I talked about it in the market open. I bought a lot more. I feel like it's incredibly undervalued, and I think they eventually will get that momentum as like the market cools down and the broader macro is in line with the bull market being intact, which I think it is, and we'll talk about that in a second. But once that clarity and certainty is there, I think Robinhood will have a lot more ease to run because, again, Robinhood is a call on the markets being okay for the rest of the year. So we'll see what happens with Robinhood over the coming weeks. Nvidia at 104, Nvidia up 6%. Nvidia was below $100 today. Reddit at 55, Airbnb at 114, Zillow up 18% on the day. Zillow having a great day. Carnival Cruise up 3.6%. S&P, best day for the S&P all year, up 2.2%. Again, you might be thinking, hey, how is the index being up 2% the best day of the year? Well, it's really hard to be up 2%. We've had S&P green days where we were up 0.5%, 1%, 1.3%. Being up 2% is not easy on a index that has close to $600 billion under management. But that's what we've got going on for the S&P and the NASDAQ. QQQ up 2.9%, recovering a lot of the losses they had on Monday. This thing on Monday was at 429. So, or even though it was lower than that, 420. It was at 420. So it bottomed at 420, now back to 447, which is not too bad. And IWM small caps as well, up 2.11% on the day, which is also not bad. Do you think SoundHound will beat earnings? I have no idea. I do know they're growing a lot, 80% year over year. So we'll see what happens with SoundHound. They'll be on the list, but not sure if they're going to beat. I just don't know the company's financials that well, but I'm sure they're going to keep growing. Question is going to be, is the beat going to be enough for the street? That stock right now, SoundHound, is up, 19% of the day. So that's a little tough going into earnings because you kind of had your earnings run if you're up 19% on the day. So let's see if they can expand from that as we get results. Okay, let's talk macro. So macro is doing pretty well. Macro is doing pretty well. And the reason the macro is doing pretty well is for a variety of reasons. Number one, it seems like we're reversing a lot of the things that happened over the past couple of days. And so what were those things? Number one, that's Japan. So JP Morgan came out today. They said, hey, 75% of the Japanese carry-in trade has been unwinded, has been carried out. So it's done. Essentially is their argument. Maybe there's a little bit more pain from that, but that's not something that's going to lead to people selling off massive amounts of US equities. And when you really think about like the concept of the carry-in trade creating this like insane 2008 subprime mortgage bubble, it's not that intense. It's not that deep either. And a lot of the people that invested in good assets, right? They didn't invest in like meme stocks. So as a result of that, you would think that if those assets recover like big tech, that the the pain of selling those or the pain of being able to collateralize those is not as large to create some catastrophic crisis like people in 2008 that barely had $20,000 taken out on mortgages of $500,000. So it doesn't seem like that's necessarily the case, or at least if that's what JP Morgan is saying, which is why markets are digesting that. Number two, GDP estimates came in from some independent studies. The official read is August 29th. They're saying 2.9%. And if they're saying 2.9%, that is an additional quarter of growth. Last quarter was 2.8%, above expectations of 1.4%. If we're going to keep growing and inflation is going to keep coming down, we are going to nail the soft landing. The question is just, will we actually be able to do both of those? But those estimates came in today, and that seems like it's not going to be horrible. Unemployment this morning, again, the jobs report was way cooler than expected, which was very good. Market wanted us to lose 240,000 jobs. We lost 233,000, which means it's going to be unlikely that unemployment dramatically rises the way some people are saying, 4.6, 4.7%. Like, that's probably just not going to happen in the next couple of weeks or even months. And then the VIX is down 10% today. It really does feel, we talked about this a lot on Wednesday after Japan reversed course when we looked at the 5-year, right? When the VIX spikes, it spikes violently. And we saw the last time it really spiked was here in 2020. This was the bottom for the S&P at 220 at the time, March 20th. And till then it ran. And so every time you get a spike, you tend to have, like we did right here at 55 on August 5th, 8:30 a.m., you tend to have a run after that. And so it's still up 17% in the past 5 days, but down another 11% today. That's just leading the market to feel the worst of the pain might be done. And if that's the case, maybe we are on to greener pastures to see what ends up happening. Chad says, you see when the market turned after Palantir earnings. Yeah, dude, I'm really, really happy that Palantir is getting the appreciation that they're getting from the market, at least right now. Will the stock sustain or not? We'll see whatever happens. But I was tweeting about this today. The fun part about this, the more I'm looking into deals and the more I look at the Microsoft deal. By the way, my official Q2 earnings video is going to be out today, like 7 o'clock. I haven't been able to get it out the past 2 days because we had Robinhood earnings. And then the day after that, we had Palantir earnings. And I just didn't have time after Palantir earnings to like sit down and make the video. So today, 7 p.m., it'll be out. Even though you guys know my thoughts, still watch it so you can get more of my thoughts. But it's really nice to see the market kind of give them the appreciation, and the entire market's turning after Palantir is turning, as Chad mentions as well. So I wrote today that, I read the Microsoft deal again. It feels, again, I've said this millions of times, but it feels like we're very early, very, very early. We are getting monster deals. One of those deals being to power Wendy's, the other one being to have a 7-year partnership with Tampa General, then $480 million government Project Maven contract. Oracle and Microsoft want us. Like, this is not going backwards, and we're doing this profitably. So I think this is very early. I think this is going to be really fun. And I think over the next decade, this is going to be one of the most exciting companies to really cover. And it's going to be really fun to see how it ends up playing out. Speaking of Chad, I did get blocked today by Chad. Some of you guys might be wondering, Amit, what could you do to get Chad to block you? Chad's a nice guy. He's from Palantir. He was on your channel. He's a big teddy bear. How could this guy have blocked you? What could I have possibly done to get blocked by this guy? Well, I said, hey, Chad, this is from the movie Terminator, right? Someone tweeted this under my post, and I was like, hey, Mr. Movie Connoisseur, this is from the Terminator. And obviously, I know it's Gladiator, okay? Now, I didn't know it was Gladiator 5 months ago. You know how I know? I didn't know it was Gladiator. Ileana's like, are you kidding me? And then immediately Chad's like, I'm done with this guy. Fuck this guy. I started off a market open stream. I think Palantir was at like $23, and it was up from 20, and I was super excited. And I was like, are you not entertained? I started the market open like that. And then someone was like, Amit, do you even know where that's from? And I was like, no, dude, I have no. I've seen it in like random like memes and shit. They're like, dude, it's from the Gladiator. I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So did a little bit of trolling today with Terminator instead of Gladiator. 2 movies I have not watched. 2 movies I'm probably not going to watch ever. I'm still addicted to Prison Break, dude. I'm on season 2. I'm getting into it. I love it. So, yeah, regardless, the point is Palantir is doing what they have to do, and the market's starting to recognize that. The other thing I want to say is the bear cave guy really got it wrong, dude. Really got it wrong. I was reading his article from the AI imposter thing a year ago just to see his argument, and his main argument was SPACs. It was like, oh, Palantir is fake revenue because it's SPACs. And I'm look, the SPACs was not the best strategy, even though there's a lot of benefits to the SPACs in terms of the R&D we got, and maybe it was buying a little bit of growth. But to say that's AI imposterish when every company has a VC arm, that essentially that's what the SPACs were operating as. I don't know, dude. And so the wild part is out of all the SaaS names out there, the market is starting to see that Palantir might be the only company that knows what they're doing with AI in terms of unlocking its value. And if the market thinks Palantir is the only one that really unlocks AI value and AI is the multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, then yeah, I think the market's going to give a really big premium to Palantir. Whether people think it's overvalued or not, the market wants that exposure. All right, let's make our watch list. So we have Dropbox, SoundHound, Unity. What else do we have on earnings? We have how am I forgetting this? We have Tradedesk, Cleanspark, TTD. Then we have a couple others that I'm forgetting. DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks is today. DNA, Paramount. DNA is 28 cents. I wonder when they're going to get delisted because you can't be under $1 for too long. I think those are the most important earnings. All right, those are the earnings. Those are what we're looking at, and we're going to see in the next 3 minutes what this market ends up. Oh, Rocket Lab. How am I forgetting Rocket Lab? And Rocket Lab. Let's see that one. I'm excited for Rocket Lab. Rocket Lab right now, it's up 5% on the day. All right. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens today. Did anyone else forget that Dropbox still existed? Yeah, dude. I mean, Google Drive is where I store a lot of stuff, but like storage on like my phone has gotten so good. You know, it's like there's so many things that have commoditized storage. I'm surprised Dropbox is still it's $7 billion company, dude. Storage was the big thing back in like 2010. And Dropbox was one of the first companies to really figure out the viral loop because they would give you, I think, 2 gigabytes free of storage if you signed up or had a friend sign up. So they grew like crazy in the early 2010s. But now it's just like not as relevant anymore. So we'll see Archer Aviation. Yes, Archer Aviation. All right, we got a big lineup. We got a big lineup to see what ends up happening on earnings. So far, pretty successful earnings season. We had some hiccups here and there, some qualms about the consumer, but still not too bad in terms of what has happened. By the way, Intel is now trading below its tangible book value. One thing that happened with Intel today. And we talked about Celsius in the morning, but Celsius got downgraded badly today to $32. Celsius. Oh, wow. Look at that. The market was so good. Celsius recovered. Celsius was down in the morning, dude. This was a real market recovery that we had today. Now, obviously, we're still not at certain levels that we were at, 2 weeks ago. But regardless, it's better than, NVIDIA going to $80 or Palantir being at $20. So we are seeing the market start to reverse course a little bit. And it looks like in the next 30 seconds, Palantir is going to close above $29.30. I think we had a $29 close early in July, but it was short-lived. So this one seems much more healthy, much more sustainable. And if we have a couple more weeks of $29 closes, we should be making our way to 30s. We should be making our way to the 30s. All right, folks, 4 p.m., August 8th. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot of earnings to get to. The stock market is now closed. All right. Now it's time for me to not be colorblind, as Chad mentioned yesterday. Dude, that joke had me dying. I was like, all I do is look at red and green candles. And he was like, it's a good thing you're not colorblind. I was like, yeah, if I'm colorblind, that would make this very difficult to do, especially when it's so volatile. All right. So let's see what's the most volatile stocks that we're going to have today when it comes to what we are looking at. So I think let's start it off on Rocket Lab and see if we can get any news there. I'll have everything open. If you guys have any numbers, let me know in the chat. But as soon as we see any violent moves, ELF. Did I not put ELF here? ELF. Let's see what we see. ELF so far, everything's pretty much flat. Nothing super crazy. Nothing super ridiculous. Not yet. But we will find out in just a bit. We got DNA up 4% after hours. That one is like 29 cents, so that one's not that serious. Tradedesk is down. It just went down. Now it's up. Tradedesk, big advertising play, up 3%. Tradedesk is green, up 2%. Now it's relatively flat, but that's green. And any other moves? DNA up 4%, Tradedesk up 2%, SoundHound up 1.54. I don't think we have numbers for that yet, though. Yeah, Tradedesk. Okay, so let's see if we get numbers for Tradedesk. That one is the one that's up. Let me know if you guys own any of these stocks in the chat. I actually don't own any of these besides Rocket Lab on the list. But let's see how these numbers playing. Okay, Tradedesk. We have 578 million in revenue. That's a beat. Or sorry, 584. That's a beat. And then EPS 39 cents. That's a beat. So 3 cents beat on EPS. Revenue. Oh, now it's down. Now it's down. Revenue beat by like 20 million. Not 20 million, like 7 million. But it's down 2%. So Tradedesk is now down. Tradedesk is down. SoundHound up 3%. SoundHound up 3. Oh, Cleanspark. Is Cleanspark moving? Well, Cleanspark's flat. SoundHound's up 3%. Let me see if I get numbers on SoundHound as well. Oh, Paramount earnings. Okay, Paramount, they missed on revenue, 6.8 billion versus 7.2. Beat on EPS, 54 cents versus 13 cents. SoundHound, by the way, is up 5% right now. Paramount is flat. Paramount's going to get acquired though, so I don't think it matters too much. But Paramount is flat right now. SoundHound 3%. Let's see what other earnings we have. Unity, no, not yet on Unity. So all we had so far was Tradedesk and SoundHound and Paramount, or not SoundHound. Tradedesk and Paramount. Yeah, we have Archer. We'll look at Archer as well in a bit. Dropbox is up 3.5. Okay, getting a little bit of juice on the droppy box. Tradedesk still up 3%. Cleanspark is slightly green. Paramount is now green. Everything's green after hours in terms of these names. Elf is green. Archer's green. But still no numbers yet. Honest is up. Honest has earnings? I don't know about Honest. Okay, let's put Honest on the list. Honest up 3.4%. Honest is a small cap. $319 million. So if you're in Honest, definitely in the small caps. Where's Rocket Lab? Rocket Lab's up 3%. Oh, there you go. That's up almost 7% now throughout the entire day. If Rocket Lab could crack $5 and get to 6, dude, that would be exciting for Rocket Lab because it's been stuck in this level for a while. Okay, no numbers yet on anything else on Rocket Lab. Let me see if we have numbers there. A lot of these might also be 405, 410-ish. Yeah, nothing on Rocket Lab yet. I think, oh, by the way, I think SoFi just launched small business banking, if I'm not wrong. Noto just tweeted, that's why I'm excited to share that SoFi is launching business banking and financing options via partnerships to better serve entrepreneurs. It looks like they're doing this in conjunction with American Express. We'll get more details on that, but that's good news for SoFi because small business banking is something we needed for a long time. So that's good news for them. SoundHound up 4.2%, DNA up 4%, Tradedesk up 4%, Cleanspark up a little bit. Again, Tradedesk we looked at, they beat on revenue and EPS, slight beat on revenue, good beat on EPS. Unity is up 1%. Unity's been beat up badly as well after their whole debacle. Oh, Elf's down. You got a red one. Christmas, Santa Claus might not be able to deliver the presents if Elf is down. Elf down 4.53, now recovering a little bit. It was down almost 7%. Now it's down 4%. Let's see the Elf numbers. Let's see if I can get Elf. Let's see. Elf is consumer. It's makeup. It's in one of those categories that's not really loved right now by the market, but their marketing has always been phenomenal, which is why Elf has succeeded. Elf still down 3.9%. Unity's down 6%. All right, so Unity taking a beating. Unity, this is a video game company. No earnings, no numbers for them yet, but they are down. Oh, wow. Unity's down 10%. Wow. Unity's getting hit. There's no peace in Unity for Unity shareholders right now because Unity is going down 12%. Unity's getting hit. Caught a little bit of a bid at 12.58. Elf is still down 5%. Unity's losing. Unity is losing. Yeah, both of these went down last time as well. Unity now down 9%. Let's see if I can get numbers. Wow, Elf's down 8%. You know, it was weird. Elf went from 220 to like 150 over the past couple of weeks, and it kind of felt like the market was trying to say something about what they think about Elf. Okay, Elf, Q1, $1.10 versus 83 cents, so they beat on EPS. Revenue, 324 versus 304. They beat on revenue. They beat on top line and bottom line. Something in the guidance has to be bad. Elf is now down 10%. Something in the guidance has to be bad. And unfortunately, if they mention some consumer weakness, although it's a different segmentation like women and makeup, it still is the consumer, and women are like the most spending consumer in the United States. So that is something we have to think about. Tradedesk now up 7%, which is good. Tradedesk is advertising technology, $43 billion market cap. They are expensive by a lot of metrics, but they're one of the premier names when it comes to ad tech. They've always been on my watch list, but never bought them, but they are up 7% right now. Unity's down 7%. Cleanspark is still flat after hours. Okay, let's see if we can pull up some of these other numbers. We looked at Tradedesk. We looked at Unity. Unity. Oh, no, now we have Unity. So Unity EPS, they beat by like 8 cents. They beat on revenue by 8 million. So very slight beats on the top and the bottom. Guidance might not be the best. And in this market, you got to really, really beat to get some numbers right here. I think we have a few numbers right now. We have Dropbox. Yeah, let's look at Dropbox. Let's look at this one, and then we'll keep going. All right, here we go.
8 cents at 60 cents. They are also pleased with what they're seeing.
Are out as well. It's popping. It looks like Kate Rooney has the numbers. Kate?
Hey, John, it was a beat here for Dropbox. Let's start with that EPS number. A beat by 8 cents at 60 cents on the EPS number. That was on revenue of $635 million. Revenue was up 1.9% year over year. Operating margins of 20% for Dropbox. And then we've got a statement here from CEO Drew Houston. Talks about navigating some of the pressure of being a more mature software business. Does say they're investing and focusing on AI. Looks like average revenue per user, $139 or so. Paying users of 18.2 million. Shares, though, up. They have more than 3% here. After hours, guys, back to you.
All right. Kate, thank you. ELF Beauty earnings are out. Pippa Stevens has those numbers. Pippa.
Okay, so this is Elf.
Hey, Morgan, is a top and bottom line beat for ELF in Q1. EPS coming in at 110 adjusted. That was 26 cents ahead of estimate. Revenue at 324 million, also ahead of expectations. Now, this was their Q1, and they did raise their full year guidance. Although on the revenue front, the high end of 1.3 billion is what Wall Street was already expecting. So maybe a little bit light there from the street's perspective. And full year EPS numbers also coming in a bit soft. So it seems to be that guidance that is sending the stock down 10% here. Back to you.
Well, it looks a lot more disappointing on the chart than it sounds. Pippa, thank you. Victoria, I want to go back to you with ELF.
Okay, so what else? I don't have Rocket Lab numbers yet. That's the one I really want to see. Honest is up 1%. Elf down 8%. Archer Aviation don't have those numbers yet either. Rocket Lab is up 3% after hours. Dropbox up 5% on their beats. Tradedesk up 7%. DNA up 1%. Paramount up 1%. Unity down 5%. Cleanspark down a little bit. So Cleanspark and Rocket Lab are the next big ones that I want to see. Still no numbers on their website. Rocket Lab, Investor Relations. Yeah, we don't have that yet. And then CLSK. Cleanspark's going to be an interesting one too, because Bitcoin's been interesting. So I don't know exactly how to navigate it. They're going to have a nice beat, but market's going to have to look deeper into that. Cleanspark announced the postponement till 4:30. Why are they postponing it till 4? Wait, hold on. What? They postponed? Yeah, no, they postponed it. They postponed the initially scheduled. The company intends to provide the update. Oh, wait, hold on. The company intends to provide the updated time and webcast details. So I think the PR is still coming out, but the webcast is postponed, which is okay. That would be okay. Okay, SoundHound is up 11%. Let me see if I can get those numbers. I don't think the earnings are delayed. I think the webcast is delayed, which any delay is very weird. Okay, SoundHound beat on revenue by not a lot. Expected was 13.09. They brought in 13.4. They missed on EPS. They lost 11 cents. The street thought they would lose 9 cents. SoundHound is up 13% after hours. So that's what we have on SoundHound. Cleanspark still flat, but SoundHound is up 13%. Again, we talked in the morning. SoundHound did acquire a company today for $90 million, which is, I feel like, a lot of money because they raised $200 million, but they're up 13%. Not sure why they're up 13%. I mean, the EPS miss and the revenue beat are inconsequential, so there has to be something they said in that earnings that got them excited. It was also up 21% during the traded day. Yeah, that was correct as well. What else do we have? Okay, CLSK. Where's the numbers here? Do we actually not have numbers? That would be incredible, dude, if we don't get numbers for Cleanspark today. Like, the delay would be very weird if we actually don't get it. Cleanspark. Yeah, no one knows. Everyone on Twitter thinks they're postponing the webcast. Yeah, I think the actual earnings are postponed, guys, on Cleanspark. That's not good, dude. Cleanspark there is dropping now, down 2%. Dude, this is companies. They knew their results 30 days ago when Q2 ended, and they knew the results probably even before that, before Q2 ended. It's not like it takes long to. I mean, it does take long, but you're as a company, if you're a well-run company, you're supposed to have this stuff figured out and ready to go. So that is weird. I still think maybe it's the webcast, not the numbers, but dude, that's not a good look for Bitcoin miners, man. That's not a good look for Bitcoin miners to postpone this. That is very... And Cleanspark's one of the best Bitcoin miners, too. I mean, I actually like them, so that's weird they do that. Yeah, they're down 4%. I had Cleanspark options. I sold them in February, and I put it into Robinhood instead. I made like 10% on them. And I thought Cleanspark would be $20 by now because the strike was for 20. But because, I thought Bitcoin would also go up. And Bitcoin did go up a lot, but Cleanspark... It went from 6 to 24 at one point, but been very volatile since then. Dropbox up 3%, SoundHound up 8.2%, Tradedesk up 6%, Elf down 7%, Rocket Lab up 3.5%. Still don't have Rocket Lab numbers. Those are the ones we want to see as well. That's weird. That's weird. Very weird. Would you get back into Bitcoin proxies for the bull run? I think Robinhood is like one of the best Bitcoin proxies, but I mean, here's the question, dude. Do you still think there's going to be a massive bull run this year? Because if not, then there's no pressure to get into the Bitcoin proxies. Like if Bitcoin's not going to 100K anytime soon, then maybe we wait, right? Maybe we still wait. But I do think having some exposure to a proxy for Bitcoin is important. All right, let's get more updates on earnings.
To see what their outlook is for next quarter.
Okay, we got more earnings to bring you. Take-Two Interactive, those are out. Steve Kovac has those numbers. Steve.
Hey there, Morgan. Yeah, Take-Two showing here a loss per share of $1.52. That we're not comparing that to estimates. And revenue was a slight miss here at $1.22 billion. Street was looking for $1.25 billion. And I'll also note they are reiterating the launch window for Grand Theft Auto 6. That's all investors are looking for when that's going to launch. That is still going to launch, they say, in the fall of 2025. It looks like shares are down about a little more than 1%. I'll send it back over to you.
All right. Steve, thank you. Charlie, want to get your reaction to some of the earnings we just heard? Maybe.
I didn't even know Take-Two makes Grand Theft Auto. But last Grand Theft Auto game I played was Vice City. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto since then, but I know people are waiting for Grand Theft Auto 6. Rocket Lab is down 2%. No numbers yet on that. We should get the numbers very soon. It's 4:15, so I imagine we get the numbers soon. Cleanspark down 1%. Still shocked. Very confused why Cleanspark delayed earnings. Take-Two is flat after hours. SoundHound up 9%. Honest, they beat on the top and bottom. That's why they're up 2.78%. DNA is up 4%. Oh, Rocket Lab's up. Now we're green. Now we're greeny green. We are... Admit Take-Two makes nothing but GTA. Well, see, I didn't know that. I thought... Well, so wait, didn't Rockstar make GTA? Or is Rockstar a brand that Take-Two owns? Is that are they like the conglomerate? Rocket Lab posts second-year revenue 71% year-over-year growth. Wow. $106 million for Rocket Lab. Up, it's basically flat after hours. We had a little bit of a green candle, but Rocket Lab, let me read these out. Rocket Lab, successful completion of the first Archimedes engine, hot fire neutron rocket, 106 million, 71% year over year. Completion of twin satellites, 17 new launch contracts signed year to date. Progress in neutron production and launch infrastructure. Electron remains the leading small rocket globally, accounting for 64% of non-SpaceX orbital U.S. launches. The company expects Q3 revenue of 105 million, with space systems revenue of 79 million and launch systems revenues of approximately 21 million. Okay, there you go. There you go. Rocket Lab. Up 2.5%. You guys are saying Grindr's up. Did Grindr have earnings today? Did I not know? Did Grindr have earnings? Why is Grindr up 6%? That's random, dude. I don't think Grindr has earnings. That's so random. Grindr moves so randomly after hours, like all the time. I'll check if they have earnings, but I don't think they have earnings. Oh shit, they had earnings today. Damn it. How did I not know Grindr had earnings, bro? Holy crap. Why do you guys want to see Grindr earnings? Let me know. Who wants to see Grindr earnings in the chat? I'm telling you, I swear I did not know Grindr had earnings, dude. This is how you know I don't have any shares in the company yet. I like legit didn't know that they were reporting earnings. Cleanspark's down 2% now. Rocket Lab up 3.35%. Shout out to Rocket Lab, man. 71% year over year growth is pretty fucking amazing. $105 million of revenue. I think that's a beat on the expectations. Let me get the expectations real quick. I'm pretty sure that's a decent beat. Yeah, it's not a bad beat. I mean, it looks like it's even if it's a couple million here or there, it looks like it's a decent beat. 71% year over year is pretty incredible. Grindr up 6.54% on the day. Cleanspark earnings is postponed. Yes, it is postponed. Okay, so Grindr, what do they have earnings? We saw Bumble collapse today. Grindr, $82 million of revenue, 34% year over year growth. It's way more than Bumble, which is like 0% growth. CEO says our outstanding second quarter results reflected continued global user growth as we enhance the value and merchandising of our product offerings. Our strong execution increases our confidence in our 2024 outlook, which we have raised today. We are looking forward to delivering more for our users and driving continued performance momentum to build out the global gayborhood in your pocket. Full year guidance to 27% of greater revenue growth, 42% adjusted EBITDA margins, net loss margin of 27%. So still not profitable yet, but looks like they're on the cusp of it. All right, not bad. Not bad for Grindr. Not bad for Grindr. Still, I don't own any shares in the company. I like it at $9. It is up 6% after hours at $11.40. Which is different than Bumble. Again, the difference between them and Bumble is like Grindr's actually innovating. Bumble is really doing nothing. Archer's up 2.7%. And then SoundHound's still up 6.5%. Rocket Lab kind of flat after hours, not really doing much. Up 0.21%, but it's there. Honest is up 20%. Wow. What happened to that? Honest was up 3% last time we looked at it. Whoa, look at that green candle. All the way up to 379. Does anyone actually own Honest in the chat? Do people own this thing? Because this is a penny stock, right? Are people heavy and Honest? Because that's up. Cleanspark's down 5%. Yeah, it looks like Cleanspark has delayed their earning. Oh, now Cleanspark's flat. No, now they're down 5%. Now they're down 5%. Yeah, I mean, the street's not going to like it if you delay your earnings. That's not good. Honest is up 19.7% now. Yeah, my girlfriend Jessica Alba owns Honest. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Wow, a decent amount of you own Honest. I did not know you guys own Honest, bro. I did not know that. Honest now up 11%. What is the bull case for Honest? And don't lie to me when you tell me this. I need you to be honest. Okay, that was bad. That was bad. I know that was bad. That was not good. But yeah, don't they just like sell diapers or something? Is there a real argument there? I'm probably butchering the thesis because I don't know it, but let me know in the chat what's the thesis there. All right, let's look at Unity earnings as well.
Unity software shares are coming apart, and over time, Kate Rooney has the results. Kate.
Hey, John, that weakness you're seeing is likely has to do with the guidance here. It was a beat for the quarter, but guidance was a pretty big miss. Shares are down more than 6%. They were down as much as 9% after the numbers came out. And then we've also got news here that the CFO is leaving the company, leaving Unity Software. I'll get you the numbers for the quarter.
Wow, CEO and CFO leave. Wow, the CEO left last year.
It was a beat by a penny on that EPS number, 32 cents on revenue of $449 million. That was better than expected. Revenue guidance for the current quarter, for the third quarter, weaker than expected at the midpoint of the range, 415 million versus, it was about 458 million. EBITDA guidance, all significantly weaker than what the street was expecting. Likely has to do, that's likely the headline hitting shares here. And then the CFO news I mentioned, Louis Visocio, the company's executive vice president and CFO, entering a mutual separation agreement, they say here. They say the departure is not related to any disagreement with the company regarding financial operations, policies,
Sure.
or practices. They say there is a formal search that has commenced for a permanent CFO. And in the meantime, they have an interim CFO that's the chief accounting officer stepping up to fill in as CFO in the meantime. But as I mentioned, guidance really the big headline here, down more than 6% after hours, guys.
All right, Kate, thanks. We're going to have much more on today's earnings movers ahead. Up next, we'll take a closer look at the results from video game.
Dude, I just got a text from my friend. She said, have you spoken about any recession indicators on your live stream recently? I want to text just like, well, no, it's not like Monday we had the worst collapse of the year. It's like, no, of course we haven't spoken about any recession indicators. Yeah, we've been speaking a lot about recession. So Honest right here up 17%, Tradedesk up 6%, Unity CFO leaving. That's not the best news. They're down 2%. Dropbox up 1%, SoundHound up 4%. A pretty subdued earnings. I mean, outside of Honest being up 15% and Rocket Lab having a great earnings, but they're up 2%, nothing too crazy there. And Elf, it was down 10%, now it's down 5%, so that's not that crazy. Cleanspark delayed earnings, that's wild, but honestly, being down 3% after delaying earnings after being up 10% on the day, I would take that if I was a Cleanspark investor. Usually, you would drop 20% if you delay earnings. And then Unity's down 3%. Really not a volatile day for earnings. Really not a volatile day for earnings at all. Pretty simple day. Nothing too crazy. All right, let's do this game, and then we'll talk more macro. Out of all the stocks on the screen, if you had to go long only one of them for the next 5 years, which one would you do? So let me read them out loud. SoundHound, Dropbox, Unity, Cleanspark, Tradedesk, DNA, Paramount, Rocket Lab, Archer, Elf, Honest, Take-Two, Grindr. You guys already know which one I'm picking, but which one out of all 15 of these names do you go long? This was a very not a crazy earnings and not a lot of volatility, which is good. Most of these beat, some of them missed on the top line, but overall, not a horrible earnings for them. Okay, we got a bunch of trade desks. We got a bunch of Honest. We have some Unities in here. You guys are only saying Grindr because of me. Don't say because of me. That's the one I would pick though. I would pick Grindr, dude. I would legit pick Grindr. Honest, Elf, Honest. Wow, dude, why do you guys like Honest so much, bro? I need to go to their website. What is going on with Honest? Honest, Jessica Alba. Is it because of Jessica Alba? Like, dude, is it because the stock's $3 and like it's cheap because it's just $3 stock? What is this? Sensitive baby care products? Clean and conscious baby wipes. This is what people want to go long on for the next decade. How much do these things cost? Okay, baby diapers. How much do these cost? Shop now for clean. Dude, I feel like you have to be a certain type of consumer to buy this stuff. Interesting. Okay, so this is what it is. Honest. Bath and Body, skincare, makeup. Pricing is not crazy at $13, but I'm not a full expert on diaper costs. Interesting, dude. This is what you guys like. It's because of Jeremy. I know Jeremy likes it, but still, like, besides Jeremy liking it, it feels like a Whole Foods type of like store where like you got to be a certain demographic to like even think of getting biodegradable diapers, you know? So not sure. What else do we have? Some people say Rocket Lab. It's a Jeremy stock. Yeah, it is a Jeremy stock. Dude, the Cleanspark thing is still really weird to me. I can't believe they delayed it. I'm going to go to the website again just to make sure it's actually delayed. Yeah, it's delayed. It's legit delayed. Cleanspark is delayed. Let me see what they said on Twitter about this. I wonder what people are saying to them. Yeah, Cleanspark is legit delayed. They delayed it. Huh. Kava had no, not Kava. Kava didn't have earnings today. Not today. Okay. Let me get some more numbers. While we're waiting on that, let's listen to Liz Young on her thoughts on this market, and we'll do more macro coverage because we went straight into earnings results at 4 p.m. So we'll talk more macro as I bring up more numbers. Here we go.
The state of the markets, whether it is time to buy the dip or prepare for more intense volatility. Was that it? Was Monday just one of those panic attacks and we've left it in the rear view?
I think it was a panic attack. I don't think it's over. I think this yen thing will resurface again. What we learned this week and what we're learning today is that I think this is the bounce people expected to see on Tuesday. And we tried a couple times. We tried on Tuesday. We tried on Wednesday. Intraday, we got pretty high, and then we gave it all back by the end of the day. So this is the bounce people were waiting for. So now what we've learned is that we're not going to bounce just for bouncing's sake. We need good news in order to move forward and in order to prove that the rally is durable. So today we got some good news, but the interesting part about what happened today is that it was just on that initial jobless claims data. In the trailing 1 year period, this is the biggest move we've had on initial jobless claims data. Suddenly it's important. So that tells me we are even more sensitive to all of the data that's coming in, which also tells me that we're going to see more volatility as we get data that might conflict.
You could, though, Gabriella, say this whole thing really started with one data point, which was overblown. The labor report on last Friday.
We also got Gabriela Santos in this, so she's also bullish on the market. Let's see her take on this. She's from JP Morgan.
Then everybody said, oh my gosh, the labor market's falling apart. We might be closer to a recession than we thought. Fed's going to cut too late. None of it's going to matter because we're going into a recession. Time to sell stocks. And then you put Japan on top of it, and you had a Sunday of madness on Monday morning.
That's right. And I think it, as you describe, it's a combination of factors, right? Some of them are fundamental. If we think back July 11th with the June CPI that was softer than expected, followed by some additional softer data prints, culminating with the jobs report last Friday. In addition to that, you also had some good, but not great, mega cap tech earnings that disappointed high expectations. And then you had this really powerful unwind of the yen, specifically carry trade, as you had those interest rate differentials collapse and the volatility double in the yen. So I think it's a combination of factors, some fundamental that were embers, and then some technical that really threw fuel in the fire. So in terms of is the worst behind us, it depends not just on the data, but also how far along we are in that unwind of the carry trade, concentrated positioning, and an unwind of momentum.
It's pretty remarkable, Lauren, the comeback that we've had, because it felt so awful on Monday morning and it was such a dramatic sell-off. Week to date, the NASDAQ is almost positive. The S&P is almost positive. The Dow is almost positive. I mean, we're less than 1% down on the week for those majors. Now, the Russell is 1 1/3% negative on the week. But that tells you the story of the rebound. Do you believe in it or not?
I do believe in the rebound because, as you know, I do expect we're slowing towards recession, but the indicators that we use to determine that we're there simply have not been met. We're looking at unemployment claims above the 260 level. That hasn't happened. We would need to see earnings growth deteriorate, where we've had really, frankly, remarkable stability. And so the macro data just doesn't support a story where you see consistent downturns in the U.S. equity market. Now, I think it's very important, though, that the market narrative with that jobs report on Friday has fundamentally changed. That was the jobs report that told us that we don't need to worry about overheating and inflation anymore. And it's a broader deterioration in the labor market that really matters for market activity moving forward. And so bad news is now bad news. Good news is now good news. And I completely agree with Liz that we are likely to get whipsawed around on data until the market resets. And again, I believe that that's when we move closer to recession.
Okay. Palantir is at 29.50 after hours. I agree with what most of those people said on the set, which is that we're not fully out of the blue yet, but this is a bit of a recovery from the Monday whipsaw that we saw. 29.40 after hours on Palantir. Palantir is up almost 12% on the day if you include after hours. They closed above $29 for the second time this year. And they're up 11% on the day. I think it looks like the street, dude. I think Q2 earnings has told the street, hey, $30 is very possible. It's not a dream anymore, but they're just going to need a little bit more macro momentum to to get to 30. I think 30 this week is not crazy, dude. If things don't collapse tomorrow's Friday, it tends to be a sell. Fridays in general tend to be tough for the market, but let's see. Let's see if we can get there. Someone said Cleanspark is out now. Is it actually out? I don't see anything on their website. Nothing on their website yet for Cleanspark. If anyone has the numbers, let me know, but nothing on my side for Cleanspark. Let's see. Okay, so on the actual earnings, Palantir again, 29.40 right now. Archer is down 0.25%. Rocket Lab now up 4%. So Rocket Lab gaining some momentum again. 70% year-over-year growth. Tradedesk up 5%. Cleanspark down 2%. Unity down 3%. Dropbox up 2%. SoundHound up 2%. Honest up 13%. Take-Two up 4%. Yeah, really flat earnings, dude. Grinder up 5%. Really nothing. Really not a lot of volatility today. Cleanspark beat EPS. See, okay, so if these numbers are correct, I had a feeling, dude, they delayed the webcast. They didn't delay the earnings. That's why I kept saying I feel like the earnings are still going to come if the webcast doesn't. If you're correct that those are the earnings. It's not on their website yet. Let me check Twitter if that's correct. Twitter doesn't have the numbers either yet. Okay, so we're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait to see those numbers. Jessica Alba stepped down. Was that today or was that a long time ago? Was that a long time ago or is that today? Oh no, that was April 9th. Okay. So Jessica Alba's not there anymore. Or she's not like she's not the chief creative officer of The Honest Company anymore. Okay, some time ago. All right, she stepped down a while ago. I love these titles they give themselves. Chief Creative Officer. It's always nice to see that. Rocket Lab now above $5, 504. Rocket Lab now starting to move a little bit. There you go. Up 5.87%, up 6%. There you go. Rocket Lab. One day Rocket Lab's going to take off like a rocket and it's going to be so much fun because everyone's going to make that joke. But Rocket Lab right here up 6%. I mean, not bad, dude. Up 6%. That's what you want to see. Rocket Lab 6.2%. 6.7. Now it might be 7%. There you go. 8%. All right. Rocket Lab's moving now. Yeah. 8.5. Wow. Now it's moving. Now it's really moving. 8% up. And they were up 4% of the day. So that's 12% for good old Rocket Lab. There you go. There you go. There you go. Elf is down 5%. Rocket Lab now up 8.8%. Paramount missed on earnings, but they're going to get acquired. So it really doesn't matter. So they're flat after hours as well. Rocket Lab guidance moved down for Q3. Yeah, I did see that. It doesn't seem like the street cares too much about that. But slight guidance lowering as well. Okay, let's see what else we have going on in the numbers. In terms of other stuff that happened in the macro today, I mean, really, Russia said they're going to allow Bitcoin mining. So that was, something I think that helped Bitcoin. The 30-year auction, I think, actually went well. If I'm not wrong, I was looking at a couple headlines around it. It seems like the 30-year auction was not that big of a deal. The 10-year auction didn't go the best yesterday. The 30-year seemed fine. So as a result of that, markets didn't really kind of get scared about anything. And that was really good as well. Let's get an actual macro take right here on kind of the summary of what we're seeing right now. And then we'll get into some more earnings stuff. CLSK, I still don't have the numbers yet for Cleanspark. So whoever put those numbers in the chat, I'm not sure if you were right about that. CLSK. Yeah, still nothing. Still nothing. Maybe it truly is postponed. Still nothing. No one, if anyone had it, they would have posted by now. They would have posted it. What does Paramount being acquired means? It means like I think a private equity firm. I think it's Apollo is going to take them private. So Paramount's just not going to be a public company anymore. I'll pull up Sweet Green in a second. After this.
Of the tape. Take a look here at the low volatility parts of the S&P 500. These are the more stable defensive stocks in the market. And this is high beta, so that's obviously the more volatile, more aggressive. This goes back to the middle of last year. And you see very much tortoise in the hare type of chart right there. You had the high beta racing away as the market bottomed in October of last year. and took off. But this is a pretty severe drop. I mean, things like semis, you can imagine, are pretty heavily represented in the high beta basket, but really just coming into parity. And today, up like 3.5% for the SPHB, up about 80 basis points for low volatility. So it sort of continues to be a little bit of a three-legged race with these parts of the market, but inklings anyway, that a more defensive tone with things like utilities and other rate-sensitive areas doing better. Now, take a look at valuations. JP Morgan making the case that defensive stocks, their forward PE relative to cyclical stocks, looks kind of attractive. What you'll see here is the shaded areas are recessions. So over the course of an economic cycle, what tends to happen is a premium builds up in more defensive stocks. Why is that? Cyclical earnings go up faster. The market does not put as generous a multiple on those higher earnings because we know they're cyclical. And then in recessions, cyclical's earnings crash, and so their PEs go up. And so you've seen right now, either you could argue we're not really late cycle because this hasn't happened yet, or we're just at a moment where it seems as if you're getting decent value in some of the less cyclical parts of the market.
So defensives are becoming, especially consumer staples. That's why we're seeing McDonald's catch a bid. We're seeing that as a rotating play. Don't know if you want to be defensive for the next 6 months if we get risk on again, because then maybe, being defensive is not where the alpha is going to be. So we're going to have to see kind of where that takes us over the next 4 months. Here is Sweet Green's earnings. They are up 23%.
Welcome back. Pretty sweet reaction to Sweet Green earnings. Second quarter results just crossing, and the stock is jumping up more than 19.5%. Earnings actually missed a loss of 13 cents per share versus estimates of a loss of 10 cents. Revenues beat by $4 million at $185 million. Comps were up 9%. That's well above FactSet estimates, and full year revenue guidance topped estimates at the upper end of the range. I guess the consumer's eating greens.
Salad is salacious. All right. Well, meantime, check out the move in natural gas.
Has anyone shopped at Sweet Greens? Dude, they're up 20%. Not bad, man. I think in New York they have a ton of these restaurants. $2.9 billion market cap. We've seen a lot of restaurants get some momentum. Cava, Chipotle, obviously, Shake Shack, Sweet Green, Texas Roadhouse. This year has not been bad for restaurants at all. Palantir, by the way, $29.47. Palantir, I mean, I don't know if we're seeing 30 after hours, but it's moving, dude. It is moving. It's up almost it's up 0.65%. It's up more than 0.5% after hours. Street's getting excited for that one. Microsoft partnership was definitely a big deal, and Street likes that. Archer is down 4%. I'm trying to get the results for Archer. Archer is the eVTOL company. Kathy Wood actually owns a lot of Archer. By the way, I forgot to mention in the morning, Kathy Wood bought like 140,000 shares of Robinhood last night as well. So Kathy did buy the dip on Robinhood. Archer. Let's see. Archer announced a plan for an eVTOL air mobility network coming to Los Angeles. Okay, so that's one piece of news today. Let's see if I can get the actual numbers. Okay, here we go. I got it. Never mind. You click you click on press release and it goes nowhere. Okay, so they put out a PDF with all their announcements, but I need to see the top line numbers. So we'll see if I can get that. Archer is down 5%. Looks like they missed on top line. Palantir, 29.47. And then Grindr's up 4%. Take Two up 5%. Honest up 13%. Still holding on to their gains. Elf is still down 4% on the day. Okay, I want to see Elf's numbers. Yeah, what happened to Elf? I want to get their actual numbers. Let's go to Elf's. They missed slightly on revenue. They beat on EPS, but they are down. All right, so let's see their results. All right, so here's Elf. Let's go through Elf. So we have on Elf. CEO says we're off to a strong start this fiscal year, driving 50% net sales growth and 260 basis points of market share gains in Q1. This marked our 22nd consecutive quarter of both net sales growth and market shares, putting Elf Beauty in a rarefied group. $324 million. Again, that beat revenue. Gross margin increased by 80 basis points to 71%, which is not bad in their type of business on makeup. Net income was $47.6 million, so they are profitable. Adjusted EBITDA, $77 million. They have $109 million in cash. Fiscal year 2025, they are raising guidance slightly by about $30 million, which is good. And they are raising their net income to $200 million versus $191 million. So about by $10 million on the guidance. Interesting. Well, it's not really that volatile after hours. It's up 4 or 5%, so nothing too crazy. But it was up a lot year to date. Now it's up. Now it's down 3.2%. SoundHound losing all of its gains as well. That was up almost 11%. Now that's up 3% after hours. Rocket Lab. Where's Rocket Lab? Is that still up? Yeah, Rocket Lab's still holding. So Rocket Lab seems to be the biggest winner today after Honest, up 7%. Honest is down. Honest is up 13% on the day. Seems like that's what we got. Cleanspark looks like it's tomorrow. Well, no. So people are saying it's tomorrow, but on their website they said they will give you a new date and time soon. So they have not officially announced that it's going to be tomorrow, but they said they're going to let us know pretty soon. Unity reversal. Where's Unity? Yeah, a little reversal there. Unity was down 7%. Now it's like barely down. Now it's flat. SoundHound up 5%. DNA up 5%. I'm really curious what they're going to say on this call. Let me actually pull up their earnings. Let me pull up DNA because I used to study this company deeper. I imagine their revenue had to take a hit, dude, because they had something called biosecurity revenue, and that left when COVID left. I mean, it was almost as cyclical as the vaccine. Like once COVID is gone, you kind of don't need a lot of the biosecurity stuff. Okay, not on their website. Let me check somewhere else. And again, they're under $1, so and Kathy's been dumping a lot of shares as well, so that has not helped them. Cleanspark announced the postponement of its results. The company is going to provide an updated time. Yeah, so the company's going to let us know later what happens. Where's Ginkgo? I don't see it online. Does anyone have Ginkgo? I don't see their numbers. Is it coming out at 5 or something? That's weird. It's not on Twitter and it's not on their website, but the stock is up a little bit. Interesting. Maybe the stock's not out yet. Maybe the numbers are just moving with it. I'll see if I can try to find those. Want to know more about Unity? Asked Tim Cook. Yeah, Unity does have that Apple partnership, but remember the Apple partnership was with the Vision Pro, if I'm not wrong, and Vision Pro failed. So like maybe Gen 2 ends up working, but I know it wasn't just Vision Pro, but like it was that Vision Pro was the hype. Like they announced it on the day they announced the Vision Pro. So and that's when Unity was $50. So or it went to 50. It was like 38 that day. It jumped up to 50 on that announcement. So not sure if that announcement is that big of a deal anymore for Unity. It says it's tomorrow for Cleanspark. All right, then I guess we'll wait tomorrow. That's weird. They're doing it on a Friday. DNA more like NDA, because if an employee spoke about how things are going, they would be at $0. Dude, well, the thing is, I don't feel bad for DNA because the founders sold so much stock, dude. They sold so much stock. So admit you have to stop saying Vision Pro is a failure. Am I wrong, dude? Am I like they didn't sell? They sold less than 100,000 units of Vision Pro. If that's not a failure, at least on version 1, I don't know, bro. I mean, they don't even mention it in the earnings calls, dude. They don't talk about it. Like, it's not a thing. Who do you know uses their Vision Pro? That's a simple question. Who do you know actually uses their Vision Pro? If you're building a consumer product, consumers need to use it. If no consumer's using it meaningfully, it's not real, dude. There was like a week of videos where people were walking around New York City wearing their Vision Pros, and now no one. Like no one, bro. Absolutely no one. Yeah, the adult industry, I think, could develop some applications, but even then, that's a big market. But I don't know if that's. I don't think Apple wants to be building their next gen hardware product with adult use cases as the main use cases for their product, right? Like, at the end of the day, they thought people would want to wear a headset to watch a movie. No one wants to do that. Like, does anyone in the chat actually want to do that? No, no one wants to do that. No one could even fathom putting this heavy thing on their eyes and like watching a movie. Now, the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, that's a whole kind of different use case. I think there's arguments that could work over the next decade. But this mixed immersive reality world that Apple tried to create, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's really that amazing. I still have not tried it either. I wanted to try it once. I went to the Apple store, but like no one was there to help me. It was like there was just like no one cared about the Vision Pro. And so I've just never used it. But the people that I know, even Derek got it the first day it came out, and Derek was like, dude, I have not used that thing in 5 months. He tried. And it was funny. The first time he got it, he was like, dude, this is the future. We have to get Apple stock. This is the best thing ever. And then he's like, dude, I don't know why I bought that shit. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Honest, 93 million in shares, up 10% year over year, 38% margin. Yes, that's why Honest is up 9% year over year. 29.50 on Palantir. Dude, Palantir's had a hell of a day, bro. A hell of a day. Like 29.46 after hours, 29.28, 11% up. It kind of feels like 27 to 29 is becoming the new 22 to 25. And if that's the case, any dip below 25 is a buy. Whereas, a couple months ago, it was hard to even get it to 25, which is exciting. A lot of people returned it before the 30-day. Yeah, a lot of people did that as well. That is also true. All right. I think that's it. That's all we have for earnings. We'll talk some more macro stuff, but earnings in general today, relatively flat. Archer's down 6%, Tradedesk up 5%, Cleanspark delayed, Unity up 1%. Now Unity's green, Dropbox up 4%, SoundHound up 3%, Grindr up 4%, Honest up 12%, and Elf down 4%. Tomorrow, we don't have any big earnings. Tomorrow's Friday. We'll have Steve come on the show tomorrow. He's working on a big Palantir article. He's very, very bullish on Palantir, so he'll come on the show and we'll get his thoughts on what's going on with Palantir. Let me check money market funds. Oh, wow. All right, we have a new number. What do you guys think? Increase or decrease on money market funds? What do you think? This is surprising. Wow. Increase or decrease on the money markets? What do you think? Actually, it's not that surprising if you think about it. It's probably not that surprising if you really think about it. What do you guys think? TJ should be here in the morning tomorrow. Yeah, in the morning, I believe. Increase, decrease. It's 50-50. I didn't give it away because it's still 50-50. If I gave it away, I would see one side one side would be biased. Okay, so here we go. Money market funds have increased by 52 billion. 6.19 trillion. This is the highest ever in the history of America that we've had in money market funds. I said it was surprising, or actually, no, I said it wasn't surprising. Well, I said it was surprising because I said 52 billion is a big number, but it's not that surprising because people sold off their stocks. They went into cash. So it makes sense, dude. Monday, everyone got scared as hell. They sold off everything, put it into money markets, and now boom, you're getting your 5%. Now, market has rebounded nicely, not completely, but we've seen a nice little rebound. So some of those people might want to take that money out next week, but that's a lot, right? 52 billion, bro. Again, people got scared, man. 6.19 trillion in money market funds. 6.19 trillion could be inside of the leading companies on this planet, the Palantirs of the world, the Teslas of the world, but it's stuck in T-bills. And so really interesting, dude. People really got scared enough to take that money and say, you know what? We are just not gonna risk it here. There's just no point of legitimately risking it. Okay, so let's get to some more macro stuff. I wanted to play one of these videos. If I can, oh yeah, here's the video. Okay, so let's listen to Ryan Dietrich here. He was on yesterday talking about why the VIX indicated the worst might be done in terms of pain in the markets. Rocket Lab now up 9%, not bad. Congrats to those who have Rocket Lab, up 9% on the day.
We saw the VIX go down 10 points yesterday, Scott. That is a huge implosion of volatility. You're talking after the U.S. debt downgrade. You're talking after the flash crash in March of 2020. The last times we saw a volatility implosion like that, that usually tells us the worst is over. Doesn't mean you can't go make new lows briefly, get everyone bared up. But that spike we saw is incredible. One more for you. The VIX was closed beneath 30, then above 60 the next day, intraday, and then closed beneath 30 yesterday. That's never happened in history. I don't really know exactly why. Maybe
is that supposed to make me feel better or think that there's more volatility?
Hopefully it makes you feel better because we just had this blast of volatility. We might have more volatility than when we went 18 months without a 2% down day. But to say that we are pretty close to a tactical low, we think it makes a lot of sense when you see things like that.
I think you could also take advantage of volatility, obviously, by selling expensive calls, by selling expensive puts. You can monetize it. The last thought I had is that we're talking about the here and now and maybe for the next, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. But if you look at the bigger picture, we're going to the election cycle that's likely going to propel volatility. Markets typically consolidate and pull back in the 3 months after the first rate cut. So that's why we're experiencing this phase. But if you step back and look at the 6 months after the first rate cut, markets do tend to rally, and especially in the 12 months after. So I think the playbook now, take advantage of the volatility, maybe buy something with downside protection, step into the names like semiconductors, maybe some Max 7, but with a 1 year plus time horizon and some downside protection.
So you got some of the bullish analysts thinking, hey, the volatility spiked. That's a time to buy the dip. Versus get scared. We did see institutions bought a lot. Fear and greed, we were at 19 yesterday. Now we're at 23. So still in fear, not extreme fear anymore, but we are in fear. And we are seeing a lot more people say this is one of the best buying opportunities we've had pretty much all year. Here's an interesting stat as well that is in favor of the bulls. Let's take a read of this. Never has the S&P made 38 all-time highs in a year and not made at least one more. A Whaley Breath Trust and 770 Breath Trust signaled recently, I don't know what that is, but which hold incredible 6-month bull records. There has only been one market all-time high set in July over the last 40 plus years. We know about that. GS Fear market indicators went off the scale. The VIX hit 65. All good 3-month market contrarian setups, which I agree with heavily. When the market is up for 2 consecutive quarters over 10%, there is a strong positive correlation for at least another decent run upwards. If that's the case, you probably see 5,700 by the end of the year. What the main argument here is that we've never had an all-time high set in July in the last 40 years. And the VIX correlation with fear indicators along with S&P bottoming has been spot on for a long time. And if that repeats itself, maybe things will be okay. So we'll see. We'll see. But not bad. Not bad there. What do we have on Palantir after hours? Palantir, we have 29.49. Dude, feels like 30's coming, man. Feels like 30's coming. And could you, if we get to 30, well, now year to date, let me check year to date. Year to date, I think we're up 70%. Robinhood, by the way, 1773. Palantir year to date, 73%, 74, 73.9. If we get to 30, you're basically looking at 75%. And then we still have 4 months left. So either we give that up and we come back to like 27, or we head to 33, 34, 35, 36. Then you got 37, 38. And then boom, before you know it, we have a 4 handle on Palantir. They're talking about Grindr on CNBC. Oh, we got to go to Grindr. Then we got to see if they're talking about that. But dude, that'd be crazy, right? Imagine like early next year or like middle of next year, we're touching 40. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, bro. That would be pretty. Oh, they're talking about Palantir, actually. They're talking about Palantir on CNBC. Okay, hold on. Let's go to this. Here we go.
Everybody's racing to get their transportation in place for the Olympics, the next Olympics. Shares of Palantir, meantime, jumping today, adding to big gains for the week. The data analytics firm striking a deal with Microsoft to bring its software and AI applications to Azure's cloud and combine it with language models for classified operations and national security work. First of its kind partnership will cater to the Defense Department, intelligence community, and Palantir's CTO, Shyam Sankar, telling me this will be a, quote, game changer that, quote, the U.S. commercial market has been so dynamic. We're now at a point where the real issue is the bottleneck between prototype and production. But in many ways, USG, so U.S. government, is like a whole year behind because they haven't even been able to experiment in any meaningful way. Now, this could change that. For example, the foreign disclosure process to share intelligence with allies. There's a PDF classification guide and the raw intelligence. What this deal would enable is the ability to automatically rewrite that intelligence so it's releasable. So for the U.S. military CENTCOM in the Middle East, for example, according to Sankar, a 3-day process shrinks to 3 hours. Worth noting, Palantir is the exclusive industry partner to build these AI applications on Azure in a classified environment.
She said exclusive. That's why I think the stock is up on this news. Microsoft, this is the first time they have a partnership like this for the government space, and they're picking Palantir. That is why Satya mentioned, like, now it's obvious why he mentioned Palantir on the earnings call. It wasn't a joke. It was because he knew they were going to work with them more deeply.
But Palantir will and can work with other cloud providers. So it's not necessarily exclusive in that way, or at least in that direction. You can see shares of Palantir, though, up 11%. And John, this comes after earnings just earlier this week, which included a re-acceleration in U.S. government work as well, even before this deal.
Yeah, another big move. Shares of Grindr now grounding higher on strong earnings. That's after a big drop for fellow dating app Bumble on the back of results in overtime yesterday. Up next.
They talked about Grindr for 15 seconds before they went to a commercial break. I like that. It is so disrespected, dude. That's good. It should continue to be disrespected. That's where it'll hopefully get asymmetrical eventually. But no, pretty amazing stuff, dude, with the Microsoft deal. I like that Microsoft deal was, if you haven't read the press release, I definitely recommend reading it. Very interesting OpenAI LLMs on Azure that they're deploying in a consolidated, safe environment, like the classified environment, like the government. Obviously, you need a partner to help you be able to do that, and Palantir is the first partner they're working with. Now, Palantir doesn't only have to work with Microsoft, but Microsoft only wanted to work with Palantir to roll this out. I'm sure they'll work with other people in the future, but exciting that they're deciding to go with Palantir to get the party started. So not bad at all. Wonder how Meet Kevin feels. Well, I don't think the Bulls can take victory yet. It's a good day. We had a good day on Tuesday, then we gave it up. We had a great morning on Wednesday, then we gave it up by 3:50 p.m. The Bulls cannot take victory yet. However, again, what I hope the show does every day is synthesize what I'm reading throughout the day, which is trying to consolidate all the pieces of data to form a narrative. And the narrative is that Japan is not going to raise rates further. They're not going to mess up this yen carry trade. Let's actually take a look at some details on that. The VIX has spiked. And then historically, the S&P bottoms when the VIX spikes. Japan's not raising rates. And the 10-year actually went back to a healthy level at 4%. The 10-year is not trading at like 3.6. It's at 3.9 right now, 3.992. Paramount, by the way, cutting 15% of workers. So continuing to see some trends in layoffs. So from those three elements, 10-year, how bonds are reacting, Japan, and then the VIX, along with the unemployment data we got, that creates a bull narrative. Now, the consumer has been the worst part of trying to come up with the bull thesis because, unfortunately, the consumer in certain companies is slowing down. Now, Chris made a good point on the show today. Chris was like, well, one of the reasons it's slowing down for Disney parks is because Disney's jacking up the prices, which is an argument, you can paint for why the consumer is actually not as weak as people think, but Disney's just having to increase prices. So that could be one argument. And then you get other commentary from Uber and Lyft that says the Uber is fine. That says the consumer is fine. So that narrative has to be mixed with some of the other macro stuff like Japan. So I'm not saying the Bulls are right yet, but Meet Kevin selling everything and going full cash. I don't know if that was the smartest move, dude, because you need like another 15% collapse from here. Like to make it worthwhile, you need like things to really go down. Here's USD over JPY. We're at 147 right now, holding pretty stable. We got to the lowest at 142 on August 5th. That's when the entire market collapsed. I don't know if we get that low again for Meet Kevin to really, really get the benefit there. Amit, what is your reaction if we don't get a rate cut in September? If we don't get a rate cut in September, I will eat a bucket of... I'm not going to do it. I'm not saying it. I'm not, because I don't trust J-Pal. I knew he wouldn't cut rates in July. I'm definitely not trusting him to cut in September, even though I feel like there's no way in hell he doesn't cut in September. So I want to say it, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not putting my life, because it would be my life. I would die if I had to eat, you know what, especially a bucket of it if J-Powell didn't cut. No, but my reaction would be that the Fed must think inflation, there's something different with inflation that we're not seeing, which is not going to happen because all of us are seeing the same data. Unfortunately, the Fed is seeing the same data we're seeing, but they're not reacting in the same way. So if they don't cut rates, I would just be like, all right, well, bull market canceled. It's done. Like, thanks, J-Powell. And it's it. We go home. That would be my reaction. But it would be but it would have to be justified from the Fed thinking that inflation is still really bad. There's no way they think that in September. There's just no way. So we're going to get the cut, but it's not enough for me to justify doing it, dude. It's not enough for me to say it. It's not enough for me to say it. I really want to, though, because it would show I have some cojones, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let myself be in that situation. Okay, USD JPY. So this is good. We want to see this continue to go up right here. This is at 147. Again, this fell to 142 in August. Look at where it was 6 months ago. So we were at 149-ish, and then we spiked all the way to 150. This is when the yen carry trade got really intense. We were at 161, and then as we started falling, obviously the market started falling because the yen carry trade started to collapse. 5 years ago, we were at 147-ish, and then we printed a lot of money, obviously came back up, and then it's come back down. So over the past 5 days, we're green. If this can stay at 147, maybe make its way to 150 and stabilize, that is really good for the U.S. markets. That means the Japan yen carry trade, maybe it's pushed down later, and we'll worry about that as long as Japan doesn't raise rates. If Japan raises rates, the USD to JPY is going to go down to like 140, 130-ish, 135. If that happens, market collapses. So Japan's not messing up that situation. VIX is not spiking to 65 again, in my opinion. So then the question is, do you want to get 5% on your money and money market funds, especially if the Fed's going to cut and you're not going to get that 5%? Or do you want to invest in companies that are growing earnings? I think most people are going to pick earnings. How about one squirt of mayo in the mouth? First of all, that feels nasty, and it feels very weird to do one big squirt of mayo in the mouth. That just like, it just, even me imagining that, just like, that's not attractive at all. That's very weird. But no, we're not gonna bet the mayo, even though I do think we're getting the rate cut, dude. Because what if we don't, dude? What if he comes out and he's just like, the committee members still feel that inflation, and I'm just like, I would be looking at that. I would be watching my stocks crash, and I would be knowing, oh my God, I have to eat mayo. And like, I'm just not going to be in that situation. Hella gay. It's very gay, dude. It's so gay. Cleanspark. Is Cleanspark moving at all? Cleanspark down 3.5%. Yeah, again, we'll get their earnings tomorrow, I think. So nothing too crazy with Cleanspark. Okay, cool. I think that's it for me, guys. I will be live on Twitter Spaces if you guys are interested in that. Twitter is in the description. I'll put it in the chat. We do a show every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. on tech. So if you want to hear from me audio-wise and from some other cool people on Twitter, then you can check us there. And Daily Palantir episode, so you can check it out. You can check out that show there on Twitter. Daily Palantir episode is going to be out in an hour, probably 2 hours at 7 p.m. Finally recapping this earnings, because I haven't done that all week in terms of a proper video, so we'll do that. And then we'll be back tomorrow morning for the market open. What earnings do we have tomorrow in the morning? Nothing. There's literally nothing. Yeah. There's nothing. Yeah, no, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. I mean, I guess we'll see Cleanspark tomorrow if they delay it to tomorrow, but yeah, tomorrow's nothing. Tomorrow, let's just see if this market can maintain itself. That would be important. Amit's going to need new jokes when he goes to CNBC. Yeah, dude, I can't say some of my jokes, bro. I can't say I need to liquidate my balls. They're not going to let me say that, dude. They're never going to invite me again if I do that. Soundhound rug pull. Where's Soundhound? Soundhound. Oh, down 5%. There you go. Well, it was up 21% of the day, dude. I don't feel like it's hard. This is what happened to Palantir last time. It was up 20% in Q1, and then it fell 20% right after. Because when you pop on earnings before the earnings come out, it's just really tough to follow that up. If you want to check out Vince and Matt streaming Rocket Lab, yeah, check them out. Let me link that in the chat right now. So if you're curious about Rocket Lab, and if you go there, we got to spam something in the chat if you go there. What can we spam? All right, what do we spam? Well, I'll go there too. What should we spam in the chat if we go there? What is something we can spam, dude? It has to be something good. I feel like we should spam like, I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? What should we spam? Here's the video. Spam mayo? Yeah, let's just do spam mayo. All right, so we're going to go there. If anyone's interested in Rocket Lab, Vince and Matt are streaming. Here's the link. I'm going to end the stream, and then immediately we're going spamming mayo. This is called what is this called on Twitch? This is like a stream sniping or something? No, raiding? It's like there's a term for it that streamers do to each other. So that's what we're doing. All right, mayo, all caps mayo. All caps mayo. That's what we're doing. Thank you, everybody. There's the link. I will see you guys Friday morning, tomorrow, 8:45 a.m. And Daily Palantir episode will be out in 2 hours. Bye, everyone. Capitalize mayo. That's what we're doing. See you guys in a bit. See you tomorrow. Bye.